So, ladies and gentlemen, the landscape of American politics has been completely transformed in just 7 weeks. President Trump's America First agenda is delivering victories that were unimaginable under the previous administration. A $20 billion investment in American shipbuilding is bringing thousands of jobs back to our shores, real jobs for real Americans, not the kind that require a gender studies degree, but the kind that built this country. Meanwhile, Trump is ending the Ukraine blank check policy. He said to Zelensky, took money out of this country like candy from a baby under Biden. Think about that. Billions of your dollars flowing overseas while Americans struggled. And who can forget Trump's bombshell announcement about reclaiming the Panama Canal, a strategic asset given away for $1 by Jimmy Carter, now coming back under American control. It's not just politics. This is a fundamental reshaping of American power on the world stage. And the Democrats, well, they are in complete disarray. Let me tell you something critical, though, about what's happening globally. De-dollarization isn't just continuing, it's accelerating. China and other BRICS nations are terrified of President Trump's America First policies. They're working overtime to reduce their dependence on the U.S. dollar. Their weapon of choice is gold. And China has been systematically buying gold reserves while deliberately underreporting their purchases. Why? Why the secrecy? Because they understand what many Americans don't. Gold is the ultimate hedge against global instability. It's tangible, reliable, and immune to political games that devalue paper currencies. The BRICS nations are preparing for economic warfare, but they don't want you to know about it. It's not just about foreign powers, it's about protecting your family's wealth during uncertain times. Noble Gold Investments specializes in helping Americans secure their financial future with physical gold. Visit nextnewsgold.com. You'll find it linked below, or call 877-646-5347. Make sure you mention Next News Network for a special offer. Okay, let's get into the news. This is just in from the White House. I'm on their email list, so for the press, as I'm a credentialed White House correspondent. I'm the chief White House correspondent for the Next News Network. And we have like inside information. It's amazing what happens. We get so many emails from the White House every single day, and I try to bring it to you on X. So if you're not following us on X, you need to make sure you do so that you get the information first as soon as I receive it from the White House. So this was an interesting moment. President Trump just scorching a Washington Post reporter on Air Force One, saying that you've lost a lot of credibility. Check this out.
Disrespecting you by attacking Ukraine when you're trying to make peace there. It's President Putin disrespecting you by attacking Ukraine when you're trying to make peace there.
What did he do?
Well, he's attacking Ukraine.
Is he disrespecting me?
Yeah.
Who are you with?
I'm Michael Burnell, Washington Post.
You've lost a lot of credibility. Go ahead. What else?
You've lost a lot of credibility. That's what President Trump said. And if you couldn't hear the question, in fact, one of the replies never got the guy's question. Well, it was a Washington Post reporter asking whether Russian President Vladimir Putin was disrespecting him by attacking Ukraine while President Trump attempts to bring peace to the country. That's how they form narratives, by asking these gotcha questions. But it was an amazing weekend. And this is a wild post. This went mega viral on X, over nearly 700,000 impressions on this post. You may have seen it. But this is a detailed report on how the AP, and listen, every weekend as we get these reports from the White House, the Associated Press has been trying to continually get back in the pool for the White House reporting, but they keep getting rejected. The reason they're getting rejected is because they refuse to acknowledge President Trump's statutory authority of renaming the Gulf of Mexico to Gulf of America. All they got to do is say Gulf of America, and all problems will be solved, but they are digging in. So it was President Trump. He left Mar-a-Lago at sunrise. Before that, something hilarious happened. The AP tried again to join the pool and got rejected, but there is a twist this time. So let's look at this. The press pool sat in darkness while the AP, like a desperate ex, kept trying to force their way back in. They got denied. Trump's motorcade rolled out. Destination Trump International Golf Club. POTUS rocking the red hat and the white shirt, looking ready. And here's where it gets better. As Trump's motorcade rolled past, MAGA patriots lined up, waving Trump flags. Two of them stood outside the club. filming history in real time and who was lurking behind them, rejected AP reporters. Inside the golf club, Trump played around like a boss. Meanwhile, the press pool sat around watching his interview with Maria Bartiromo, where he dropped some serious truth bombs about the economy and refused to sugarcoat a thing. We got some clips for you on that in a moment. But the bombshell is when Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt dropped by for a gaggle, revealed something huge. Trump had dinner at Mar-a-Lago last night with Marco Rubio and Elon Musk, and then Sean Hannity just decided to drop in, and there is our beloved press secretary. She also revealed that Trump crushed Gary Player's grandson on the golf course, and people were fired up. Meanwhile, the AP banned from the pool, lurking across the street, but they did bring cake. Yes, they actually brought cake. This is something they apparently keep doing, and they keep bringing pastries to the pool reporters. The cake provided was labeled celebration. Celebration of what is the big question? Trump dominating the golf course, Elon Musk dinner with him, or maybe the fact that the entire press establishment would turn on its head. Either way, the AP is still in exile. And there's a nice an AI image I generated to visualize the moment. The real story, though, Trump is playing 4D chess. He's making moves with Musk, with Rubio, with power players, while the mainstream media flails in confusion. And we're here on the ground inside the White House bringing you the truth. Make sure you follow Next News Network. But the updates kept on coming. As he wrapped up the round of golf, the message was clear. His motorcade pulled out. A small crowd of patriots holding signs. One supporter held a sign that said, "Thank you," and thank Elon. Clear nod to Musk's influence in the Trump orbit. The deep state clearly sweating bullets. As the motorcade cruised past Palm Beach, Air Force One remained parked, but pool reporters spotted a smaller U.S. government jet. Likely Rubio's jet, and they were having a meeting there. I'm not sure exactly what was going on. So, there was some talk about the fact that there was a dust-up between Rubio and Elon Musk. That was like the gossip column rumor. So maybe because Rubio and Musk and Trump were having dinner, they're trying to smooth over some of those issues. Okay, so here's where it gets interesting. We've got these clips from the video. This is it. Moments ago, Trump and his top officials blasting through the Sunday shows, laying out the stunning transformation of America in just 7 weeks. The border sealed, the economy surging, deep state's imploding. Here's everything that they just said. This is probably the most encapsulated roundup of everything that happened on the Sunday shows. First, Trump on Sunday Morning Futures set a deadline for April 2nd. Until then, tariff pauses on certain imports to help American car makers. After that, it becomes all reciprocal. What they charge us, what we charge them. The game is changing. Check this out.
MCA. And I wanted to help the American car makers until April 2nd. April 2nd, it becomes all reciprocal. What they charge us, we charge them. It's a big deal. But what they charge us, we charge them. But this is short term, and I felt that for the good of the American car makers and the MCA, the USMCA, that's Mexico, Canada. I thought it would be a fair thing to do, and so I gave them a little bit of a break for this short period of time. And
giving them a break, and then we have Don. He was asked about the Democrats' behavior during his joint address, saying there's something wrong with them, and called out their obsession with men and women's sports. Check this out.
I was surprised at the Democrats' behavior the other night because you delivered among the most diverse, expanded audience, Republicans, Democrats, Independents. Yeah. So is it just the Democrat leadership that does not see that?
There's something wrong with them. It's just something, I can't even believe it. They lost an election in a landslide. They were talking about men playing in women's sports. When I looked the other night, I made a speech. The Republicans were going wild, and the Democrats were having their little signs up, little tiny signs. And I said, it's unbelievable. They don't get it. They don't get it now. And I think they're going to end up being a minor party if they keep going like this, because people don't want to hear about these stupid ideas that they have. Transgender for everybody. And again, the men and women's sports, what is that, a 90-10 deal? I don't even know who the 10 would be. But they're fighting for it. And I try and say to myself, because you always like to understand where your opponent is, whether it's in business or anything else, is there something I don't understand? But We don't understand it.
I was surprised at the Democrats'
and there's more,
behavior
my
the other
friends.
night.
We've got more. Don't go.
It is shipping. Mr. Wei, the biggest in the world by far, is going to spend $200 billion on making a massive plant to make chips.
So that's your message? Build it here?
Build it here, there's no tariff.
Yeah.
Build it here, there is no tariff. On Zelensky, Trump's not holding back. He took money out of this country under Biden like candy from a baby.
Taking candy from, well, you know, he was able to, it was like taking candy from a baby, what he did. He's a smart guy, and he's a tough guy. And he took money out of this country under Biden like candy from a baby. It was so easy, with that same attitude. And I just don't think he's grateful. We gave him, in my opinion, $350 billion. Europe is in for $100 billion. We gave him $350 billion, and he's talking about the fact that they have fought, and there's a bravery because somebody has to use the weapons. But without those weapons, don't forget, I was the one that gave him the javelins that was able to knock down all the tanks. Obama gave nothing. Look, if I were president, that would have never happened. You wouldn't have had Russia going into Ukraine. You wouldn't have had the whole situation with Hamas and October 7th. It would have never happened because Iran was broke. They had no money. They weren't giving it to Hamas or Hezbollah or anybody else. You would have never had the worst evacuation anyone's ever seen, which is Afghanistan, which was the most embarrassing day in the history of our country. And you know what else you wouldn't have had? You wouldn't have had inflation. We had record-setting inflation under Biden. It was a killer. And it's one of the reasons I won the election. Well,
yeah, certainly. And about Russia, the media screamed that Trump was soft, but now he reminds everybody nobody's been tougher.
They know. Nobody has been tougher on Russia than Donald Trump. Nobody. And they know that. They know that. Just look at the things I just told you. The pipeline, I stopped it. The biggest job they've ever done was the pipeline, Nord Stream 2. Nobody ever heard of it until I came along. They were building it happily. They were going to supply Germany and everybody else all over Europe. And what did I do? I stopped it. The biggest economic job they've ever had, I stopped it. Biden got in. On the second day, he approved it. He said, let it go forward. It was totally stopped. Just that one thing alone tells you everything. No, I was tough. At the same time, I got along with Putin. I got along with Kim Jong-un. I got along with President Xi. But nobody was tougher, like on China, than I was.
Oh, and it gets better. This is massive. Trump just said we're taking back the Panama Canal, calling out Carter. He is reiterating his position. He is not holding back.
The Carter administration gave the Panama Canal for $1, gave the Panama Canal to Panama for no reason. They had a little demonstration of a few people, and he gave it. It's the most expensive thing we've ever built in the history of our country, relatively. In other words, if you bring it up in today's dollars. We lost 38,000 people to the mosquito and to snakes. Snakes are vicious. They had a very vicious snake. If you got bit, you were in big trouble.
Wow.
But mostly to mosquitoes, malaria. And we built this incredible thing, the eighth wonder of the world, right? You know, it connects two oceans, and one ocean is substantially higher than the other. Nobody knows that. That's why you have the locks. And the most incredible thing. And it does great. And we shouldn't have given it. We should have never given it. But we didn't give it to China. We gave it to Panama. And now Panama has gone out and essentially ceded it to China. And until they ripped all the signs down about a week ago, when they saw that I was serious about this, you know, most of the signs were written in Chinese. They were all Chinese all over the place. That wasn't the deal. We're taking the Panama Canal back.
Yeah, all the signs were in Chinese. Trump's like, oh, we're taking it back because China's in control. Why do you have all these Chinese signs up? Take them down quick. Now, here's a big thing. Everyone's talking about Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security. The fake news is pushing this narrative that President Trump's going to destroy it and gut it, and no one's going to get their checks. They're not going to be able to get their health care covered. But that's all a big fake news lie, all right? What President Trump is doing, he's gutting the waste from these bureaucracies to make them more efficient. It's very simple. Let's listen.
And we're going to have growth like you've never seen before.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, you said that.
We're going to have growth. I'm not going to touch Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid. Now, we're going to get fraud out of there. You know, you see where I talk about it all the time. We have people 250 years old and all, you know, tremendous fraud. But that has nothing to do with that. We're going to get the fraud out, and everybody wants us to get the fraud out, and therefore you'll make it better. But we're going to have tremendous growth. When you look at all of the car companies that are now coming into the United States, and they've been announcing, like on a daily basis, they're going to build their plants, and they're going to create tremendous numbers of jobs, and so many other things. And I'm doing something else that I think is very exciting. Maybe I'm wrong. A gold card. For $5 million, you buy a path to citizenship in this country. We'll see. I believe that Apple and all these companies that can't get people to come out of college and come because they get thrown out. Think of it. You graduate #1 at the Wharton School of Finance or Harvard or Stanford, and you get thrown out of the country. You can't stay more than 1 day. And they want to hire these people, but they can't. They've complained to me about it. Now they can buy a gold card, and they can take that gold card and make it a part of their deal to get these top students. No different than an athlete, like a bonus. It's a signing bonus. And you're going to have a lot of people buy that. You're going to have a lot of companies buying gold cards. So for $5 million now, it's a lot of money when you add it up if we sell a lot of them.
Yeah.
If we don't, it's nothing ventured, nothing lost. But I think it's going to be very successful. You can't get a green card. A green card, this would be a green card on steroids. This would be much better than a green card. We're going to
much better than a green card. And then here's one for the Doge boys. Trump dropping something on Elon Musk, a bombshell. Check this out.
Found you just said, what he's done is unbelievable. Now, you could then add some, but what about he's found hundreds of billions of dollars worth of fake contracts, and I read them, just a tiny portion of them, the other night. Transgender surgery on mice. Hundreds of, the money they're spending on all of this stuff, the whole thing's a scam. And you'll find ultimately that the money that they sent comes back to a lot of the people that made those deals, okay? You're going to find that. What he's also done is made people realize how many people should be cut. Because normally you go in and say, all right, cut 4% of your workforce. He said cut 50%, 60%, 70%. That's a big thing. Now, he's done a great job. You just said.
Elon Musk continuing to gut the waste at the federal government. On education, Trump laying it down in plain English.
We want to bring the schools back to the states because we have the worst, literally, we have the worst education department and education in the world. We're ranked at the bottom of the list, and yet we're #1 when it comes to cost per pupil. We want to not only have school choice, which is important, but we want to bring it back to the states so the states can run the schools, and they will be every bit as good as the top educational departments anywhere in the world.
So you feel good about the states governing education issues?
I do. Not all of them.
Rather than the federal government?
You can go back to the states, but I can tell you 40 states will have great. And then same ones that we have problems with everything else, they probably won't do as well, but we'll help them.
We will help them. Then the DHS Secretary Kristi Noem took the stage on Face the Nation, destroying Biden's legacy. Check this out.
At the border now. I want to ask you, border crossings, they're at a 25-year low.
They are. It's fantastic.
There are 6,000 U.S. military personnel working at the border now. That number could go up to 9,000 by the end of the month. How long do you have to keep them there if the numbers are already dropping like this?
You know, we'll continue the partnership with the Department of Defense, but also we've got partnerships with Commerce, with the Attorney General's office. You know, we're working every day with the Secretary of State. We'll keep them there until that border is completely secure, and we see all-time record lows of encounters. Our Border Patrol is doing fantastic work, but we're going to keep them there till the whole world gets the message that this isn't Joe Biden's world anymore. anymore. This is President Donald Trump's country, where we have a border, where we have laws, and it applies equally to everybody. I think that is what is so refreshing, is that we're not picking and choosing winners and losers anymore. Americans have to live by the law. So do those who come to this country. You have to come here legally, or there will be consequences.
Oh, yes, and the consequences will be a quick one-way trip to Guantanamo Bay. On deportation, Noam says almost 700 gang members have already been removed.
Thank you for that we have. And even everywhere I've been in this country out there, looking at what President Trump has done on immigration and border enforcement, the people that I meet are saying thank you. Thank you for getting these terrorists out of the country. He has deported in just 1 month.
Have you deported
22
terrorists?
known and terrorists on the terrorist watch list are out of this country now. We have almost 700 gang members that have been deported out of the country in just a month. And
which have been redefined as foreign terrorist organizations.
Well,
by the Trump
281 specific TDA members, which we know are the worst of the worst, have been taken out of this country. So everyone that has a story like Laken Riley's family or Jocelyn's family, they're extremely grateful that won't be perpetuated amongst other families in other states.
Thank God for that. On Biden's failure to enforce the law, she says he ignored federal law, period. Ignoring federal law. The laws he's supposed to be faithfully executing. Mm-hmm.
He didn't follow.
But when it comes to reviving the policy of separating families from their children at the border.
Reviving separating families at the border. See how they're reviving that narrative? Unreal.
Reviving it. It's that President Biden didn't follow the law. He didn't follow the law in the fact that it's always been equally applied until his administration. And then he made decisions to ignore federal law in how he handled immigration and enforcement within our borders. And so today we're expanding our team at ICE, and we're going to have an acting director in Todd Lyons, who has a long history with Tom Homan. They have worked together to build on these enforcement operations. We're also naming a deputy secretary in Madison Sheehan that was going to be another expansion of this team. They've done incredible work cleaning up our communities and making them safer. Adding more people to the team with Todd and with Madison is going to allow us to partner with local law enforcement officials to make sure that we truly are following through on enforcing the law. And if you break our law, then there's going to be consequences.
Oh, yes, there will be consequences. And what about Mexico and Canada? Well, Noam put them all on notice.
Officials, the data is getting better, and I would say in the conversations that I've had this week with Canadian officials, they were hoping to avoid the tariffs and had a lot of conversations, but not a lot of action. So this is the hope, is that the fact that President Trump has said something and now has enforced consequences, we really are hoping for even better partnerships. We need access to their criminal background system so that we know when someone crosses that northern border, who they are, why they're in our country, and who they may be partnering with. We also need them to work with us on identifying packages, technology investments. Canada has said they will do that. We just want to see them actually do it. In the past, promises have been made by both Mexico and Canada that they didn't follow through on. Their naming of a fentanyl czar in Canada is important. That's great. Now let's see really what happens. President Trump's been strong, and I think that's why you've seen the data going our direction. But boy, every day people in this country are dying of overdoses, and I don't want any more families to have to deal with that tragedy if it can be avoided and we can have a stronger relationship. The data. Yeah,
we got to stop the dying, stop the overdoses, stop the influx of these deadly drugs in this country. And then we have National Economic Council Director Kevin Hassett on this week. America added 10,000 manufacturing jobs in February alone.
After looking at the jobs report that we just got this Friday, you can see that it's already working. In just 1 month alone, after losing 110,000 manufacturing jobs, we made 10,000 in February alone. 9,000 of them were auto jobs. Looking at the jobs report that we just got.
9,000 were auto jobs. And then we have the Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick on Meet the Press saying we're about to see the greatest economic growth America has ever seen.
Trump is a winner. Anybody who bets against Donald Trump, it's like the same people who thought Donald Trump wasn't a winner a year ago. Donald Trump is a winner. He's going to win for the American people. That's just the way it's going to be. There's going to be no recession in America. What there's going to be is global tariffs are going to come down because President Trump has said, you want to charge us 100%? We're going to charge you 100%. And you know what they say? They say, no, don't charge us 100%. We'll bring ours down. We'll unleash America out to the world, grow our economy in a way we've never grown before. You are going to see over the next 2 years the greatest set of growth coming from America as Americans. You saw it, 1.3 trillion of new investment coming in America. Think of all those jobs. And remember, each trillion of investment in America is 1% of growth GDP. So Donald Trump is bringing growth to America. I would never bet on recession. No chance.
Wow, that's amazing. And then we have Caroline Levitt on Fox and Friends explaining why Trump supports the continuing resolution.
Negotiated. Yes, we do. And this week, government funding will run out, and House Republicans have negotiated and led a clean continuing resolution, which President Trump fully supports. And he is counting on Republicans on Capitol Hill to work together, to unite, to get this clean CR passed. On November 5th, the American people gave Republicans and President Trump a historic, overwhelming mandate to govern. And it would be a gift to the Democrats to allow them to shut down the government and therefore shut down the momentum that President Trump and Republicans have built over the last 7 weeks. So this clean CR, we need it to pass. It effectively curbs spending, freezes spending, while allowing the government to continue to function, allowing ICE agents and Border Patrol to continue their mass deportation effort, allows President Trump's cabinet to continue to identify waste, fraud, and abuse across the federal bureaucracy. So the president supports the CR, and we're hopeful and expect Republicans to get on board so we can pass it and continue moving forward implementing President Trump's agenda.
The agenda moves forward. She revealed that Trump's cabinet is rooting out the waste, fraud, and abuse. The entire federal bureaucracy, the deep state purge, is well underway. Washington will never be the same. And of course, let's not forget the tariffs. Trump's strategy is clear. Until April 2nd, I'm helping American automakers. After that, it's all reciprocal. And of course, how the Democrats and Trump, there's something wrong with them. The left has lost its mind. They won't stand for America. This is the new era. In just 7 weeks, Trump's administration is flipping the switch on America. The border is under control. The economy is booming. The deep state is getting dismantled, and the globalists are losing. If you're watching this, you are witnessing history. The greatest economic expansion in U.S. history is about to unfold. The swamp is being drained, and Trump's America First revolution is just getting started. Make sure you follow Next News Network on X and YouTube, your official White House credentialed source for the real news they don't want you to see. We're inside the press room on the ground and exposing it all, so stay tuned. And there's a picture of me outside of the White House. Oh, yes. Check this out. Well done. Shared to my fellow Discord group members. Thank you, Karma, Susie, Hodge. All are fantastic. I'm excited to see what happens next. Economy surging. We just had 5-point worse crash in the markets than the COVID crash. We're now in full-blown market crash territory. That was 4 hours ago. That was what they had to say. Nice. Drain the swamp. Thank you for the update. Another great thing Trump has done is appoint many intelligent, strong women to key positions. MAGA, baby. Deep state isn't imploding. His cabinet is. Okay. So when will the grocery prices come down? You see how people are like to troll? Oh, because they think that by just a swipe of a pen, everything's going to happen overnight. Yeah, well, we're going to find out real soon because you're all going to witness it when the economy comes roaring back. So much amazing things, so many amazing things happening. And what we're seeing right now is nothing short of an American renaissance. While the corporate media focuses on pronouns and climate hysteria, President Trump is rebuilding American strength brick by brick. The shipbuilding industry, once the backbone of our maritime power, abandoned by globalists seeking cheap foreign labor, is returning with unprecedented investment. Let's not forget about Social Security, Medicare. Trump has vowed to protect these benefits while eliminating the rampant fraud that drains billions from deserving Americans. The contrast could not be clearer. Trump is protecting American interests, securing our borders, and bringing strategic industries back home. Democrats are focusing on dismantling America's traditions and weakening our position globally. So I ask you this, and you can drop a comment below. Why would any American choose policies that benefit foreign nations over our own citizens? I want to hear your thoughts in the comment section. And while you're making your voice heard, check out the exclusive America First gear at the Next News merch shop. Fight, fight, fight. Wear your patriotism proudly.